Hello and welcome to Airline Profits Executive Interviews. I am Kofi Sonopan, Managing Editor of Airline Profits Magazine and author of the recent book series on airline business and technology, namely Airlines for Business and Airlines for Technology. Today we have the privilege once again to talk with René Armas Maes, International Aviation Consultant and Managing Director of JetLink International LLC. As announced in our past episode, René has graciously agreed to discuss new trends and updates with us roughly once every month. In today's interview, which is the second of a three-part series on innovation and digital transformation in commercial aviation, we will continue our discussion with a specific focus on airport technology. As you may know, nowadays airports and customs are testing and rolling out biometric recognition and fingerprint scanning devices to ease check-in, passenger flows, and border clearance in order to improve passenger travel experience at airports. For your information, if you are listening to this episode first, the previous one, which was the first of our three-part series, René dealt with new trends in airline technology. The link to that interview is included here so you can access that at your leisure. In the upcoming third and final episode, René will be discussing how airlines and airports can align their strategies pertaining to technology in order to make it a win-win-win proposition for themselves and for their customers, namely passengers. With that, I invite you to stay tuned till the end to hear what René Armas Maes has to say. Thank you. So René, thank you again for joining us for this interview, which is the second part of our three-series discussion on innovation and digital transformation in commercial aviation. So how are you today?
Good. Thank you again for the opportunity and nice talking to you again.
Thank you. My pleasure. So I'll start with the first question. I know that Airport Council International, or ACI for short, and CETA have forecasted that airports will spend more than $9 billion US dollars in IT investments this year. Can you tell us what airports consider as top priorities when it comes to investments in IT these days?
Today, passenger self-service continue to dominate the airport IT investment strategy overall.
Okay.
These services include biometric-enabled self-service type of technology, such as backdrops, unassisted e-gate services, and border clearance kiosk for travelers entering or returning to a country.
Okay.
In addition, you can observe mobile apps and cloud-based softwares, which is known as SaaS platform that allows airlines and ground handlers to share physical space and IT resources at an airport.
Okay.
And also, the other one top priority that you can observe today is this type of SaaS platform being rolled out at mega hub airports. Next, you can observe as well a big push for location-based technologies such as beacons. And furthermore, you can see as well dynamic mapping, self-bag tagging, encrypted blockchain technology, even radio frequency identification for backtracking. You can see as well robotics, passpoint technology, and obviously artificial intelligence, plus tier Wi-Fi services that are the major areas of investment priorities today for airports.
I see. Now, talking specifically about Wi-Fi, the strategy, we understand that the discussion airports are having today is how to monetize those said investments through a tiered Wi-Fi business model, as you just mentioned. But at the same time, they are trying to push for more retail sales at their facilities. So do you see any contradiction in that?
That's a very good question. I mean, certainly m-commerce technology is a commercial opportunity for not only for airports, but for airlines as well.
Okay.
Especially for airports, what they want to do, they want to pursue this opportunity in order to optimize both retail and airport service revenues.
Okay.
Therefore, case for free, unlimited Wi-Fi or not, needs to be considered. A commercial balance between free Wi-Fi capabilities for basic internet browsing, including retail and airport services purchase, versus more sophisticated high-speed services options should be evaluated by any airport. It is typically, in a typical airport, you will observe three classes of services being offered today with different economics perspectives. The first one is complementary Wi-Fi services supported typically by a sponsor. Second, you will see a standard one-size-fits-all paid service. And third, you'll see a subscription-based, especially for frequent business traveler who see the airport mainly as an extension of their office.
I see.
But I see as well another opportunity to further add to that, and basically there are two other commercial opportunities that could be pursued as well by airports. The first one, it could be a limited complimentary basic internet browsing time, which you are seeing many airports. Basically, you log in and then they give you 20 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever. After that, you'll have to pay. And the other option is high-speed, semi-premium internet browsing services that it could be up to 30 megabytes per second. Those. So if you look at the three previous that I mentioned plus these two, I mean, there could be 5 potential commercial opportunities for airports that they can be pursued. Therefore, we can observe why it is important for airports to consider a tier Wi-Fi strategy, because customers, they have different needs, data needs. Furthermore, when it comes to connectivity, there is a need to further segment your customers and optimize your revenues as well. Certainly, and regardless of the Wi-Fi option to be marketed, it is critical that key passenger data is collected in order to build passenger profiles and personalize the products, and just basically to build service bundles. Even a premium Wi-Fi service can be offered at a discounted price in exchange of passenger willingness to complete a detailed passenger profile, which at the end is going to better understand airports, what kind of customers this one, what they are looking at, and just basically further segment the data to build personalized packages for the customer that they might positively respond to and basically buy services.
I see. Now, talking about location-based technology or beacons, and you mentioned that in your previous answer, how can that help airports in maximizing revenues and improving passenger journey at their facilities?
Yeah, I mean, sensors or beacon technology can help airports understand and monitor passenger flows through the terminal, especially at critical points and during peak hour times. Therefore, beacons can assist airports to avoid congestions, to meet or exceed service levels, such as check-in queue times, and certainly, optimize sales as well. Likewise, iBeacon enabled mobile apps can offer wayfinding for passengers to truly enjoy an immersive travel experience at the airport, which is basically what airports are trying to do. At airports, a number of areas are constantly rated below average by passengers. They typically are border control and security checkpoints.
Okay.
A beacon located at a check-in counter area can help airports to manage proactively passenger flow while minimizing bottlenecks.
Okay.
Not only that, but collecting and analyzing this real-time data allows airports to optimize passenger flows and maximize time spent in areas with revenue potential, such as airport retail shops. There is a well-known airport statistics that says that an extra 10 minutes in security checkpoint line might reduce the average passenger retail spend by 2 to 3 times.
Okay.
So there we can see exactly why it's so important to track this data to make sure not only passengers can have the best airport experience, but as well you are trying to maximize retail shop revenues. And that obviously will translate into a large commercial opportunity loss for airports and retailings alike. If passengers spend more time in security checkpoint times, there is this statistic basically saying that passengers will spend less at retail shops.
I see.
In addition, beacon technology, data analytics, and passenger profiles can further assist airports to optimize retail and airport service revenues. Finally, sensor deployment to monitor arrival processes in areas such as baggage reclaim might assist in further improving travel experience. There is a good readout that I'm going to recommend to the audience, which is called the Airport Council International Airport Terminal Beacon Recommended Practices.
Okay.
This is a booklet that is important to understand if you're trying to understand how you can build a business case for beacon deployment technology. This is a good read as well. It basically includes capital expenditure, operational expenses, risk, and the alike.
I see. Very good. Now, in terms of revenue trends, we know that a major one for airlines is to diversify and maximize ancillary revenues. Now, can you talk about airport ancillary revenue strategy and what are their main sources of revenue?
Yes, there is a growing interest by airports as well in the airline customer data in order to personalize offers and push further ancillary revenues. Also, there is an increasing interest in passengers' data to influence navigating in terminals to increase ancillary revenues as well. In the airport world, one can observe 3 major ancillary revenue trends. One is the associated with retail and merchandising sales.
Okay.
The other one is the tiered Wi-Fi option, which we just discussed.
Yeah.
And the last one will be the purchase of airport services such as parking and lounge. In addition, location-based technology can certainly boost non-aeronautical revenues and push important ancillary revenues for airports. But in order to be effective, one needs to collect and analyze and segment the data specifically to tailor-made unique offerings to your passengers. Today, we can see as well more airports are planning to offer retail and airport services promotion, jointly promotions, including parking and meet and greet services through apps, basically pushing ancillary revenues to the next level. It is important as well to note that in addition, tailor-made techs and beacon technology, for example, at security checkpoint areas, can optimize ancillary revenues. And one example of that is that, let's say, if a passenger is late or security queue times is expected to exceed an airport service level standard, a customized text advising that it will take X minutes to clear security control area might be positively received by a targeted passengers and potentially a sale can be closed.
Okay.
Another example on this ancillary revenue push is an airport concessionary might want to build a bundle such as discounted or free of charge priority security checkpoint pass based on one or two online products purchased at the store. That's another thing airports can do. Consequently, in this case, it will allow the online retail platform to be expanded with a combination of an airport plus a merchandising product bundle, which would add value and potentially maximize sales. Going one step further, airports can think as well, or the retail shops can think in to basically to offer other solutions and other options that include a purchase of a good that can even be delivered to a customer home or be sent directly to the gate in case the departure time is a concern. So there are different things that airport can do to push ancillary revenue, as I have described. And to conclude on this point, a friendly ancillary revenue strategy should focus on charge for extra value. The perfect combination being a high revenue generator of offering that improve passenger satisfaction. For example, you can look for mainstream add-on services with minimal establishment costs, such as priority security screening, but most important is to use proper segmentation techniques and personalized service, as well as to eagerly push ancillary revenue strategies at different checking points at the airport, especially for those high-margin, unpopular products and services.
Okay. Now, one thing that would be important, as we discussed on the previous interview, what would you say would be the starting point of the journey, or how can an airport get started with this digital transformation journey, to be more specific?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. And I mean, the key message on this is that airports need to understand that the digital strategy today is a core strength. This is first and foremost. Therefore, the idea is how to get started on this. I would say first, airports needs to map out passenger flows at terminals and airport processes to a certain current airport level airport travel experience by areas. We can start from check-in areas, and we have to go all the way through baggage claim, which is an area that many airports sometimes they forget about it. So first, you map out those processes. Then second, it is key to identify airport pain points by putting yourself in your customer's shoes, understanding congested areas, low human capital productivity areas, as well as diminished revenue touch points. Moreover, it will be important as well to look into historical versus expected airport service levels that should be evaluated specifically for areas with the lowest satisfaction ratings and typically associated with two key areas. We're talking about passport control and security checkpoint areas. Okay. These analyses must include the average security checkpoint and border control waiting time, specifically at peak times, busiest date, and as well as a headcount analysis. Finally, a key understanding of passenger satisfaction driver is as well needed under this second point. Moving along, I would say as a third point, airports need to investigate how human capital resources and its associated costs can be reduced by embracing technology, and what must and should be digitalized to improve the entire airport experience, while keeping in mind that costs can be contained and hopefully revenues should be optimized. The fourth step will be to complete a review of the airport IT business, including specifically infrastructure, the processes that you have, how scalable is the solution that you have, and what are the operational challenges that the airport is having. You need to look for your team as well as skills and see what are they capable of doing or not. And as well, you need to look into outsourcing versus insourcing strategies. Fifth, you need to understand what digital technology is available, what are the opportunities they are providing today. You obviously need to understand as well global digital trends, This is an essential part, an essential component of a sound strategy. And you need to understand as well what technology can be employed to improve customer service, reduce costs, and beef up commercial opportunities. Under a sixth step, you need to understand if you want to control the whole digital value chain in-house, or if you want to work with a digital contractor while you ramp up the team capabilities in case you don't have the people, the skills in-house. Another question you need to ask yourself is, should you completely outsource the digital journey initially? The answer is not an easy one, but it's certainly a strategic one. So starting small and ramping up seems to be a better business model for many airports. And lastly, on the seventh step will be what kind of financial resources you have available, what type of empowerment you have from the very top, and we're talking about the airport CEO and the board. And you need to look as well very carefully under the what kind of organizational culture you have in the company, and you need to make sure that you have one that stimulates innovation. This is pretty much needed in order to develop and test a new digital products and solution. Having said that, there is a good document as well that can be read for this topic, and is the Airport Council International Airport Digital Transformation Workshop that has produced a digital airport survey, which includes a self-assessment document for airports to be able to identify where they are along the digital journey and what kind of technology they can use, what kind of mobile apps they can use. It talks about innovation labs, it talks about chatbots, biometrics, and other technologies. To conclude on this one, keep in mind that digitalization yields potential for both additional revenues and cost efficiency, as well as an improvement to the travel experience and to human capital productivity.
Absolutely. And I'm done with my questions, René. So would you have any last words for this interview for the audience?
Yeah, what I mentioned, what I have seen for different consulting jobs is, as I mentioned in the past, culture is very important, and sometimes a business culture is the first barrier and the main barrier to innovate and to put forward new digital strategies. So it's very much important that you have the very top, from the airport CEO, from the board, and as well that you have an organizational culture that will help you to innovate and to implement or test a new digital product solution. That will be key.
I see. Okay, thank you very much, René, for this opportunity, this second interview in the three-part series we started last month on innovation and digital transformation in commercial aviation. So I hope you have a great day, and looking forward to the third part, which will be on how airlines and airports can align their strategies in order to create a win-win-win proposition for themselves and their customers. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kofi, as well. I'm looking forward for the third and final part, and appreciate your time and the opportunity.
My pleasure.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This concludes my interview with René Armas Maes, International Aviation Consultant and Managing Director of JetLink International LLC. For you, I am Kofi Sonopon, a Managing Editor of Airline Profits Magazine and author of the recent book series on airline business and technology, namely Airlines for Business and Airlines for Technology. And I would like to thank you for listening to this interview. We hope that you found it interesting and informative. We also hope that you will stay tuned for future Airline Profits executive interviews, since we have a few more coming up over the next few weeks. In the meantime, if you have not done so yet, I would invite you to subscribe to our RS feed on airlineprofits.com and to our YouTube channel, You can also like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and Google+. Once again, many thanks for listening to this Airline Profits executive interview, and I wish you have a great day. Thank you.